Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept the humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Krishna Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Holiness JAYADVAITA SWAMI MAHARAJ. And all glories to the Samal Vaishnavi devotees. Devotees, we thank you all for being here as usual, and we are very much blessed. We have His Holiness JAYADVAITA Maharaj with us today. We believe that every attendee here, and probably those who may be watching on YouTube, already knows Maharaj. He needs an introduction. He is one of the pillars of beloved movement. He served the movement for so many years, served Srila Prabhupada devotees for so many years. And it is an honor to have his association with us today. So Maharaj, you're welcome back to Hare Krishna, Africa. And without further ado, we may put the verse on the screen, and then you take it over from there. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, I believe your mic is still muted.
Yes, I'm muted. There we go.
Hare
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
So we begin, yes?
Yes, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And we're reading Bhagavatam 376. Bhagavan Eka Evaisha Sarvakshetreshvavastitaha Amusha Durbagatvam Va Klesho Va Karmabhi Kutaha. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ekaha, alone, Eva Eshaha, all these, Sarva, all, Kshetreshu, in the living entities, Avastitaha, situated, Amusha, in the living entities, Durbhagatvam, misfortune, Va, either, Kleshaha, miseries, Va, or Karma Pihi, by activities, Kutaha, what for? The Lord, as the Supersoul, is situated in every living being's heart. Why then do the living entities' activities result in misfortune and misery? Purport. The next question put forward by Vidura to Maitreya is, why are the living entities subjected to so many miseries and misfortunes in spite of the Lord's presence in their hearts as the Supersoul? The body is considered a fruitful tree, and the living entity and the Lord as Supersoul are like two birds seated in that tree. The individual soul is eating the fruit of the tree, but the Supersoul, the Lord, is witnessing the activities of the other bird. A citizen of the state may be in miseries for want of sufficient supervision by the state authority. But how can it be possible that a citizen suffers from other citizens while the chief of the state is personally present? From another point of view, it is understood that the jiva living in From another point of view, it is understood that the jiva living entity is qualitatively one with the Lord, and thus his knowledge in the pure state of life cannot be covered by nescience, especially in the presence of the Supreme Lord. How then does the living entity become subjected to ignorance and covered by the influence of Maya? The Lord is the father and protector of every living entity, and he is known as the Bhuta Brit. or the maintainer of the living entities. Why then should the living entity be subjected to so many sufferings and misfortunes? It should not be so, but actually we see that it happens everywhere. This question is therefore put forward by Vidura for solution. One more. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kolpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Give me one moment, just one. Well, maybe two. Bhagavan Eka Evaisha Sarvakshetresha Vastita Amusha Durbhagatvam Va Klesho Va Karma Bhi Kutaha. It's a very intelligent question. The living entities are suffering. Klesha. Klesha means trouble, suffering. Adhyatmic klesh, adhidaivic klesh, adhibautic klesh, suffering from body and mind, suffering from other living entities, suffering from the nature. So in three different ways, suffering is imposed on the living entity. Any one of them is enough to be more than overwhelming. Why? The living entity is by nature pure, asango hiyam purusha, and the Lord is suhridam sarvabhutanam, the best friend of all living entities, and he is personally present. Then why are these things allowed to happen? That's the question. Sarvakshetreshu avastita. The Kshetragram chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu parata. the Lord is present in the heart of every living being and all the different species of life. Sarvik Kshetreshva. And why is he allowing these troubles to come? Suhridam, he's the best friend. Suhrid means the intimate friend of the living being. Why is this intimate friend allowing this to happen? The argument is there that if we're suffering, then it must mean that either the Lord is not all good, he's not really the well-wisher of the living beings, or he's not all powerful. He's our well-wisher, but what can he do? He doesn't have full authority. That argument is given. And then some people, some fools probably would say, opt for one or the other side. Yes, it's true, he's not all good, or yes, it's true, he's not all powerful. But a enlightened person like Mahatma Vidura knows that, yes, the Lord is all good and he's all powerful. Then what's happening here? How can the living entities be suffering? Prabhupada gave the example that in the presence of the king, how could the citizens suffer? In the presence of the parents, how can the child be subjected to sufferings? So why are the living beings suffering? Durbhagatva. Durbhaga means misfortune. Misfortune. Some might like to argue that this is the best of all possible worlds, that everything here is really good. There's anyway, one French author wrote a book skewering, just destroying that, lampooning, and destroying that point of view, that this is the best of all possible worlds. How could it be? What's so great about it when we have to suffer so many miseries? There's another European philosopher, he said, I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this world is, but I'm pretty sure it's not for our enjoyment. I'm pretty sure it's not for our enjoyment. Common sense. What kind of enjoyment? So many wars and, well, diseases, so many things. We don't have to go through them all. Everyone knows how many miseries are there. And so we want to go to America. We want to go to the moon. Krishna says, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Abrahma Bhuvana Loka. Yes. So the Durbhaga. Kuta. Kuta means why, or where from. Why these miseries? And this, any intelligent person, yes, would naturally ask such a question. Why am I suffering? Sanatana Goswami, Kayami, Kene Amai Jaratapatroy. When Sanatana Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these were his questions. First, who am I? Am I this body? Or am I something else? What am I? And why are the threefold miseries always giving me trouble? These are the questions for an intelligent human being. The fool doesn't ask these questions. He just wants to enjoy whatever happiness material nature seems to be offering. But the intelligent person will feel the pricks of material nature. he'll feel the pricks of material nature, and he'll ask why this suffering. And then there are all sorts of arguments that are given by mental speculators to try to explain why these things are going on. But Vidura here is asking Maitreya, great authority, to clear these things up. We'll find later that the miseries that we undergo are actually superfluous, much as they may seem deep, much as they may be deep-rooted, but still they're not. The anartha upasamam sakshat, bhakti yoga matokshajay, lokasya janto vidvan chakre, satvita sangita. In the first canto, the living entities, the miseries are superfluous to us. And that's explained in an upcoming verse. And let's find that verse. Not one, there's several. Let's find them. Although here, actually, excuse me. Before we look at coming verses, we'll find in the Chaitanya literature that Anadi Bahirmukh Jeev, the living entity, is Bhogavanshakari. He's trying to enjoy turning his away from Krishna, Bahirmukh. The Krishna is there within everyone's heart, but the living being chooses to ignore Krishna. The misguided living being chooses to ignore Krishna, and then he has to suffer. He's busy eating the fruit of the tree, sometimes very nice, and sometimes problematic. But the Lord, of course, he's not trying to enjoy. He's there as the friend. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. Saka means friend. The Lord is the friend of the living being, and as a sincere, well-wishing friend, he wants to save the living beings from so much unnecessary misery. But the living beings are not always cooperative or keen to hear. They're keen to hear something for sense gratification, but they're not so keen to hear about the message of Krishna, which can free them from material existence. Yes, they're not so eager to hear. And this then becomes the problem. The living entity turns away from Krishna. Just like the sun is shining everywhere. Everyone can take advantage of the sun. But if we turn away from the sunshine, what can the sunshine do for us? Yes. Then those verses I said I'd mention. This device on this device. Yadartena vina musha pumsa atma viparyaya pratiyata upadrashtu swashiras chedanadika. The distress of the living entity, his klesha, is described in this verse as being like the situation of a person who dreams of seeing his head cut off in a dream. There was some school classroom, and the teachers told the student, if you don't behave, then I'm going to cut off your head and hang it on the wall for everyone to see. So then the student became Ho. But if you think about it, if you can see your severed head on the wall, then you must be all right. Otherwise, how would you see it? So this is the situation of the living entity. Actually, there's no trouble. There's no difficulty. But we're dreaming. I'm this body. Life is meant for sense gratification. I'm this, I'm that. And therefore we suffer. Therefore we suffer. Otherwise, it's needless. The child who thinks, oh, this he's going to cut my head off, then he's going to be in fear, he's going to be in difficulty. But as soon as he thinks, as soon as he knows that, oh, what is the problem? If I see my head cut off, I must have my head. As soon as he comes to this understanding, he's all right. Therefore, the devotee has to understand that everything is the energy of Krishna, that Krishna is the best well-wishing friend of every living being. And then there'll be no difficulty. All right, I want to answer some questions, but give me a moment. I'll just come back, okay?
Nadia Gojum Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojum Nityananda Mahajan. Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan. Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan. Shradhavan jan hai, Shradhavan jan hai. Shradhavan jan hai, Shradhavan jan hai. Prabhu aagai bai magiye bhikha. Prabhu aagai bai magiye bhikha. Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha.
So nice to hear Agnidev Prabhu's kirtan. Before we go on, actually, I can give two other examples that are also mentioned. One is that where the transformations that the living entity goes through, including his so-called happiness and so-called distress, are like the movements of the moon on the water. And on the water, the moon or the sun appears to tremble. but actually the moon is, or the sun, they're not trembling, but they appear to tremble because the water is trembling. Because the water is trembling, the moon appears to tremble. So the living entity, actually, he has no difficulty, but because he identifies himself with material nature, he identifies himself with this body, then he seems to be in trouble. Then the third example given is that sometimes if you look up in the sky, it seems that the moon is racing across the sky. It seems the moon is racing across the sky. You see the clouds and the moon, and against the background of the clouds, the moon seems to be racing. Maybe you've seen that. But actually, the moon is not racing like that. It's only because the clouds are moving that it seems that the moon is racing. Actually, the clouds are racing across the sky. But because we, of our imperfect vision, we think the moon is racing. So in a similar way, we think that we're going through so many this and that, this and that. This is all in a dream. So if we just try to fix the dream, that's not going to help us to repair the dream so that everything will be nice. No, the thing is to wake up. The Prabhupada gave the example, child is having a nightmare, and the parents come in, and the child is crying and so on. But the parents are just smiling a little bit because they know that this is nothing substantial, just the child is having a bad dream. So similarly, prahasanniva bharata, senayor ubayor madhye. At Kurukshetra, Krishna is speaking to enlighten Arjuna, and he's slightly smiling because he knows that Arjuna is having a bad dream. He's imagining, this is my cousin, these are my friends, this is my this is my that. And that, and Krishna knows that none of this has substance. Asochanam vashochastvam pragyavadam strapashase. He knows this is all nonsense. What Arjuna is speaking is all nonsense, and Prabhupada, Krishnath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna was slightly smiling because it would have been rude to just outright laugh at Arjuna. When Arjuna is expressing so much distress, to just laugh at him would be too much. So Krishna just smiles slightly and says, you're not lamenting for something worthy of grief. This is an intelligent person doesn't see in terms of this body and the miseries associated with this body. And he becomes free from them by waking up through the process of bhakti yoga. Anarto pasamam sakshat, bhakti yoga madhokshajay, lokasya janato vidvan, chakre sattvata sangita. The miseries of material existence are superfluous. They don't pertain to us. But people in general don't know this, and therefore Srila Vyasadeva composed this Srimad Bhagavatam Sattvata Sangita. All right, are there some questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj, for sharing this wisdom with us. So, dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations, you may want to ask question, please indicate by using the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. Right, we have Tribhuvannath Prabhu, please give me unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, your argument, yes?
Shubhuvanand,
Maharaj, yes?
can you turn your video on, please?
All right. Maharaj, your argument in favor of the question that was raised by Vidura, it sounds so good. But in practical sense, we see that the question also has both moral values and ethical values. We see from the Mahabharata that Krishna was with the Pandava and they go through hell. And Vidura asking this question in a more practical sense, how do we really reconcile it? Because Maharaj, you have given a lot of arguments, to back, to prove that Krishna is always there, that the living entity, they are responsible, when they miss the point, or when they find themselves in the case of enjoying spirit or things like that. So they deviate. But the Pandava, they were not having that intention of enjoyment. Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto was not having that intention of enjoyment. But we see that they passed through hell. Krishna was there inside, Krishna was there outside. So Maharaj helped to reconcile this phrase with this kind of situation we say in the Shastra.
Of course, Prahlad Maharaj said, I have no anxiety, Naivod Vijay. Although his father tried to torture him in so many ways, Prahlad said, no, I have no problem. My only anxiety is for those who've turned away from Krishna. So in a similar way, although it's, what's the word? Difficult to know how to apply it, the instruction is given. Give me a moment. Yes, instruction is given that we have no difficulty. Even the Pandavas, they seem to go through such great troubles, but these are described as being like the troubles undergone by an actor in a drama. In the dramatic performance, it may seem that the hero undergoes so many troubles, but that's superficial. He's not being shot, he's not dying, he's not. So Krishna says, Nayam Hanti Nahanyate. No one's actually going to die at Kurukshetra. No one's actually going to kill anyone at Kurukshetra. So similarly, when the Pandavas are in exile, they're not actually undergoing difficulties, but it appears that they're undergoing difficulties. The show is made by Krishna for our enlightenment, for our instruction, but the Pandavas are always in the liberated position.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj, for the answer. Srimad Mahaprabhu, please give me unmute.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam Maharaj. I'm sorry, I'm driving, so please excuse the noise at the background. Thank you very much for being here and sharing with us your realizations. Maharaj, my question is about the analogy of dream.
The analogy of what?
Of dream.
Dream.
Of dreams, yes.
Right. So, how much can we really use this analogy to explain our situation here?
How much we use it?
How much can we use this to explain the situation of the living entity in the material world? And my reason is this. the dream is always very short. And
What is
hardly
that?
does it have any, dream is very short.
Yes.
The dream is always very short and hardly have any sequel or sequence. But our existence here is for an extended period, even though it's too temporary. But it's an
I'm sorry,
extended dream.
hold on. Your audio quality is not so great, but if you slow down,
yeah.
I should be able to understand.
Okay. So I go gently. So I'm saying that our existence in the material world is for an extended period of time, even though it's temporary, but it's still an extended period of daily
That's
sequence and
extended,
sequences.
yes.
Of daily sequence and sequences, which is not the case in a dream. The dream comes and passes by. But if we take the situation of the living entity in the material world, that he has to continue day in, day out, experience results for his actions that creates fears or creates enjoyment. And then we say that don't do anything about this dream. Anyway, it is just dream. How feasible is that? This is something you have to face with every day, as long as you live, however temporary it may be. But you are facing this every day. It is not like a dream that comes by a few hours and pass by, few moments and pass by. So I'm really not seeing. Well, why I'm asking this question is the point that why do you want to fix the dream? So how can we not want to fix the dream when it is a daily occurrence with daily sequel and sequences? It is something that needs to be fixed, otherwise we will be in permanent anxiety.
Okay,
So anyway, this is my point. Please, you can help us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. First thing is that dreams do have sequence, of course. The sequences sometimes seem jumbled, sometimes seem a little absurd or crazy, but dreams do have sequence. First this happens, then that happens. Even in our waking life sometimes seems crazy. First this happens, then that happens, and it doesn't make any sense. But dreams have sequence also. That's there. But apart from that, in terms of time, it seems that our sufferings go on and on and on and on. Well, that's from our perspective. But if you look at our life from, if you look from Lord Brahma's perspective, then the whole life of the universe, what is that? 4,300,000 times 1,000 times 2 times 12 times 30 times 100 solar years. That's the lifetime of Brahma. And in comparison to that, or by that standard of time, our existence in time is only for a moment. Our entire life, or our many lifetimes, only go on for a moment of Brahma's time. Brahma stole the cows, Krishna's cows, and then came back a moment later because he was concerned that maybe that I've done something that'll get me into some kind of trouble. It came back immediately, but that immediately meant a year had passed on Earth because the times are different. A whole year. So somebody underwent suffering for a whole year. That was just a moment for Brahma. So again, this is our perspective that, oh, it goes on for on and on and on and on. But from the perspective of a learned person, a realized person, these things are only temporarily assigned. Is that all right?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Therefore, Krishna says, Tamstatikshasva. My dear Arjuna, just tolerate these so-called miseries. They're like the coming and going of summer and winter. The patient person, the tolerant person, all right, now it's summer, it'll be winter. Now it's winter, it'll be summer. So he doesn't, he knows, all right, these things come and go. Agama, Payana, Anitya. They're temporary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for this last example, the verse that says we should tolerate them without being disturbed. However, my question is about why we should not fix the dream.
Why what?
Maybe
Why would you
why
not
we should
fix the dream?
Why we should not fix the dream?
There's a story Prabhupada told that there was a rishi, maybe Lomasha Rishi. Anyway, there was a rishi, and he was living on the seashore. And he was a very hairy person. He had many hairs on his body. And it was said that at the end of every day of Brahma, one of his hairs would fall out. And it was understood that when all the hairs fell, finally they were all fallen, then the rishi, the sage, would die. So you can imagine how long his life was. So he was living on the seashore, but he didn't have any fixed place to live. So his disciples proposed, Guru Maharaj, let us at least build a hut for you. You can do your bhajan peacefully. And the sage said, no need, I'm not going to be here very long. So no need to fix it. No need to fix the circumstance. It's going to be over soon. Just like here, they wanted to buy me some new shoes because, the snow and this and that. But it seems like now it's March. By June, it'll be summer. By May, it'll be almost summer. So what's the need? The shoes I have are good enough. Not that we have to fix the thing. So, and even if we fix it, the fix will be destroyed. Sometimes in the dream itself, you fix something and then it gets unfixed. You escape from the tiger and the tiger comes from another direction. So you fix the problem and then it gets unfixed. Or just the dream passes by and then it didn't matter whether we fixed it or not. The dream is over. And everything is all right with no tiger. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. I'm getting more realizations, but I still have one thing going on in my mind. So if we say that, why bother to fix it? Because it will get destroyed again. Or
say that again?
It will get destroyed again, even if we fix it. That's what you just said, Maharaj.
Maharaj, you were saying that if we say that, why bother to fix it? Because if you try to fix it, it's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, so that my question now is, so why bother to do anything at all? Why did Krishna ask us to act? Why did Krishna ask us to act? Action. Why is action necessary if we don't have to fix it?
Actually, it's not to fix the material world. It's to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. It's not that the world can be fixed. But Krishna's engaging Arjuna, you just do some service to me. You just do some service. Otherwise, Arjuna's thinking, no, I'll fix this. I'll leave the battlefield. Then there'll be no war. Then there'll be no blood on our hands. But First of all, Krishna says that's not going to work. You'll have to fight anyway. But more important, this human life is not meant for fixing this world. The world is unfixable. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it said, what God has made crooked, no one can set straight. The whole material world is crooked. You can't straighten it out. You straighten out one thing and something else breaks. You cure one disease, another disease takes its place. They wiped out whatever it was, some disease from before, polio. Now cancer is there. So the world just can't be fixed. It's like an old machine that you can't fix anymore. The material world is not because it's old, but because it's designed in such a way that it must give miseries. It must give miseries, and we can't stop it by any attempt. There'll still be misery. We can give so much food and charity, still there'll be food and charity. Nothing can be fixed.
Well, Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. This last answer you gave to my big brother's question, Shumbara Acharya Prabhu's question, reminds me of Srila Prabhupada saying quite a number of times that only those who are pessimistic about this material world can seriously take the Krishna consciousness.
Yes, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Unless we're pessimistic, it's difficult to be, we'll still think, no, we can fix it.
Yeah.
But the person who has knowledge, no, it can't be fixed. Therefore, Prabhupada, when he met his spiritual master, Prabhupada was proposing, no, we have to have a liberation movement. We have to free India from the evil clutches of the British. And Prabhupada didn't go for it. We needed information. Sorry, we don't need a revolution for freedom from the British. We need a revolution in consciousness. We need so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gave that answer. That no, your political action will be meaningless. The whole of India was swept up with this idea that of freedom and da-da-da. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, the freedom that we need is freedom from material existence, not freedom from the British.
Well, thank you, Maharaj. So I have a question, which is actually a follow-up question to Tribhuvannath Prabhu's question, the first question.
Mm.
And Vidura is saying that Krishna is our well-wisher. Srila Prabhupada, when he signs his letters, he signs his letters as your ever well-wisher.
Yes.
Now, I do not disbelieve that Krishna is our well-wisher, but in the case of Srila Prabhupada being our well-wisher, he was not just our well-wisher in the sense that I have one god brother here, Govinda Prabhu. One time I was trying to cross the street and I didn't realize that there was an oncoming vehicle. And he stopped me. Because he stopped me, I did not get knocked down by the vehicle. But if Krishna is our well-wisher and he accompanying the loving entity, the Jiva, are sitting on a tree, and all he does is witness my actions, how do I consider him as a friend and a well-wisher when I'm trying to do something crazy? He's not going to stop me. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, it was not just a well-wishing, he also physically trained devotees how to do this, how to do that. So I'm wondering why and how do we say Krishna is our well-wisher and friend when he is just there witnessing what we do?
One thing is that Krishna doesn't do nothing. He sends the spiritual master as his representative. He sends preachers, he sends the spiritual master to urge us not to stay in darkness and illusion and suffer. It's not that he does nothing, but yes. Yes, so it's not that he does nothing. He tries. He speaks Bhagavad Gita. He instructs Arjuna. He instructs us from within. He sends a spiritual master. And then when we ignore everything, then we say, oh, why doesn't God do something?
Well, Maharaj, in the case of some of us who are, I would say, fortunate to have contact with these teachings, and again, having spiritual masters taking initiation, we have that fortune. But there are many others who do not have this fortune. They do not have spiritual masters. They do not have any clue about this spiritual teachings. Meanwhile, Krishna is within their hearts. And I don't know. I don't know how much and how many times Krishna stops these people from acting stupid. And that's why we have so much craziness going on in this world, because people are doing crazy things and the Lord is there and it's not stopping them. He's God's witness. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, I lost the thread there for a minute.
Well, I was trying to say that what you just said to my question applies to some of us, like my crazy self sitting here. I'm fortunate enough to have been exposed to these teachings. I've been blessed to have the Guru. I've been further blessed to have initiation. So if I do not take instructions from my spiritual master, who is manifestation of the Super Soul, then I cannot blame the Supreme Lord. But there are so many others who do not have the opportunity I have.
But by their choice. That's the other side of Krishna's friendship, that if you insist, no, I want to do this, I want to do that, all right. So then we blame him that, why didn't he tell me? No, he's lifetime after lifetime trying to tell us, and lifetime after lifetime we're refusing to listen. And then, why didn't you tell me?
All right. Well, thank you, Maharaj. Anyone else with something to ask or to share before Maharaj?
I have my hands up.
Oh, okay. Please, you may go ahead, Shimba.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you very much. We really have your association here, so please tolerate our questions. It's an opportunity to get more nectar. So, yes, first, thank you for the answer given to Saradev's question. I got the realization a long time that the spiritual master is the grace of God. That's what we call him, is divine grace. The grace of God comes to us through the spiritual master. So even though Krishna may not seem to be doing anything himself, but his grace is before us in presence in the form of the Guru. So thank you for that. Now, my problem is still with the point that we have nothing to fix here.
Say that again?
Yeah, my problem is with the point that we cannot fix the situation in the material world. So we cannot
fix it. No, it's unfixable.
Yeah, so my question is, still, I'm sorry I'm dwelling on the same thing. My question is, if we cannot fix anything here, and we are pointing towards the spiritual world, our eternal home, where we can go and live in peace and happiness with the Supreme Lord. So wouldn't that sound like we are giving a post-dated check? Because right, we're giving a post-dated check. We're giving a future promise. And then people will ask us, what is your contribution? problem going on here. House is on fire. There's problem. And you're giving us a post-dated check. No, when you go to the spiritual world, you will be happy. Leave this place.
No, you'll be
Would
happy
that-
now also. You come to the spiritual platform, you'll be in the spiritual world even now. You don't have to die first. Just the Hare Krishna devotees, they're happy. Even though
And that means we have fixed something. We have already fixed something here.
no,
People can be happy.
no, it's not by fixing something here. It's by waking up. Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. The material world is full of miseries. But if one comes to Krishna consciousness, then he's not in the material world. He's above the material world. So that's the fix. The fix is get out. So our that fix is there. We're shipping people out. Well, no, I'll suffer till I leave. No, you be in Krishna consciousness. Then Guru Napi Vichalyate, even the most Tam Vidya Dukkha Sang Yoga, Yogam Yoga Sangitam. When one is situated in perfect Krishna consciousness, then even the heaviest miseries don't pull him away from Krishna consciousness. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you, Maharaj.
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else with something to ask? Oh, Tribhunath, sorry, Prabhuji. Please, you may unmute, Tribhunath.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaja wants to make this a comment of appreciation. Thank you, Maharaj. I really appreciate your argument in favor of the question that was raised by Vidura. You take us deeper into the different aspects of the scriptures that has relevance to the question. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Tribhunath. Shubhara, did you raise your hand up or it's from previous? I guess from previous. All right. Maharaj, you gave the example. Oh, sorry. I'll cut myself off. Mother Gail, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
I was trying to wait until it looked like there were no more questions because I'm not sure if it's appropriate to ask about the classes that you will be giving on the Bhagavatam and CC here. Because I was just wondering if because they're supposed to be Monday through Friday, I was wondering if that started yesterday or are they yet to start because no date was given.
Yeah, they've been going on since years now. They started in the time of COVID.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we've been keeping them going. But we just made a change. Although we just announced that they're going to be Bhagavatam Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're changing that after so many years. Because when we started, Friday, everyone was locked in. Now Friday, everyone has programs. So we're changing it to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Bhagavatam, and then Thursday, CC. So we're swapping out Friday. Friday is now empty, and Tuesday is full. So that changed in the schedule, and it's going on now. This Friday there's a class because we're just making the change. But this coming week, next week, there'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and no Friday. Is that okay?
Mother Gail, you are muted.
Yeah, you said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is Bhagavatam?
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be Bhagavatam.
Okay,
Thursday,
Thursday, CC.
So it's just instead of Tuesday being empty and Friday being full, we're moving the program to Tuesday.
You don't happen to have I have the meeting ID, but you don't happen to have the password on you, do you?
Of course I do, but I'm not going to announce it on YouTube.
Okay.
what you do is you write to, I think,
I have the thing to write to. I'll do that.
okay, yeah. So just
Thank you.
write there and you'll get the password.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj. I was going to ask this question because you gave this wonderful analogy of seeing the movement of the moon in the body of water.
Mm.
It appears to the observer as the moon moving, but it is just due to agitation of the river that the moon appeared to be moving. And these are some of the statements Vidura was saying to Maitreya. And here in at the Krishna Africa platform here, we try to study the Bhagavatam in a systematic manner in chronological order. So I recall, and if I may put this on the screen, because we are doing Canto 3 at the moment, but we did Canto 2, and then Chapter 8, Text 21. There is a statement made, and Prabhupada gave some wonderful paper. Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Tell me also the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and sense gratification? That's a boatload of questions. But in the purport, Srila Prabhupada states here, a devotee's business is to earn the favor of the Lord. Therefore, a devotee should always glorify the Lord in his wonderful creations. A devotee should not decry the creation of the Lord, defying him by saying that he has created a false world. The world is not false. Factually, we have to take so many things from the world for our maintenance. So how we can say that the world is false? So the analogy of the moon reflection in the body of the river and with agitation of the river, making us feel that the moon is moving, therefore it is not true, it's not real. This has been an argument for some of the impersonalists, claiming that this material world is false. So Maharaj, how do you help us contrast the statement coming from Vidura and what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, that this material world is not false, it's real?
The moon is not false, and the water is not false. But the appearance that the moon is moving on the water, that's false. We don't say that the moon is false. And we don't say that the water is false. The typical impersonalist example is the rope and the snake. We're mistaking a rope for a snake. But our answer is, and the snake is not real. But for there to be a mistake, confusion between rope and snake means there's such a thing as a rope and such a thing as a snake. But we just confuse what's what. So we confuse the temporary to be eternal. We can confuse the servant to be the master. We confuse illusion to be to be substantial. A magician cuts off someone's head or saws a woman in half. So it's an illusion, but the woman is there, the saw is there, the magician is there. But there's an illusion that the woman is being sawed in half. So the world is there, the Lord is there, living entities are there. The Lord is not false. The living entities are not false. This material world is not false. But the relationship that we imagine ourselves having with this material world, I'm the master, or I have a connection with this material world. That's false. That's a temporary connection, an imaginary connection.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj. And we are very, very much honored by your presence, your association today, and the wisdom shared with us today. And dear devotees, I believe you all agree with me that we've all been very much nourished today by Maharaj's wisdom shared with us today. And with that, we believe we may bring this to a close. But Maharaj, I have one humble request before we bring this to a final close. I try to be optimistic in devotional service, but sometimes I become pessimistic as to how devotional service will continue to go on as Srila Prabhupada started it. And once in a while, you come across a particular devotee and you get convinced that yes, it's gonna continue. And with this, I am trying to say something about your own very grandson, His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami Maharaj. He is such a very sweet Maharaj. And I am not sure if it is appropriate because I always feel that I am very, very insignificant. So what is the use of my prayers to such an elevated person? But you are here with us. And it is my humblest request to you, Maharaj, that you continue to bless him so that we'll have more and more of him, more and more of his guidance to enthuse and encourage all of us in our devotional service. So Maharaj, my humblest request is your continual blessings to His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami Maharaj.
My blessings are there. His Guru Maharaj's blessings are there. Krishna's blessings are there. Vaishnava blessings are there.
Jai. Jai. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker for today, His Holiness JAYADVAITA Swami Maharaj. And please, you may all unmute, and we do this together. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Panchakapata Vishta Kripa Sindhya Ivacha Tanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai. All glories to His Holiness JAYADVAITA Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai. Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to